Hi, Fashion Dolls. It is Fierce Female Friday, February 4th, and welcome to another episode of Style by Stevie Daytime. Today, joining me, we have a beautiful dancer and actress. And she's not only a dancer and actress, but she's a dance coach as well, too. Allison, ladies and gentlemen, will be joining me today. So let me share this live with her. I hope you guys are all doing wonderful. TGIF. I'm super excited. We've got one more interview tomorrow with actor Michael Taylor, who's worked alongside Gavin Hardin, who I've had on my show previously. Make sure you guys share this live and let everyone know the Style by Stevie is in full effect. I had such a great interview yesterday with actress Michelle Jaye. Her energy, it was such a great interview. I hope you guys are doing fab. I'm doing wonderful. She is here with me, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, J.L. Allison. Let me add her.
Well,
Welcome. How are you?
I am well. I am well. It is so good to be here.
Yes, welcome to the Dollhouse. It is such a pleasure to have you here, TGIF.
Where's the light? There we go. That's so much better. Right.
All right. She's here, ladies and gentlemen, J.L. Allison. So before we get into this interview, how has 2022 been for you thus far? We're now in the new year. We're like half in the middle of this month. Uh-oh. Yes, we're like half in the middle of this month, and we're now seeing new vision, new greater things coming about. How's 2022 been for you thus far?
So far, I cannot complain. I'm telling you, it is as though it brought in a whole new livelihood. I was able to start off the year with a brand new movie and that I produced. And I guess that was my biggest news. Like I started promoting it. I put it out there on the film festival circuit, and immediately got praise for the other films that I put out there. So I'm rather excited that it started off on a high note, and the dancing is still going well, and the children are doing competitions right now, and everyone is on a high note and rolling really, I guess, firmly and fiercely, and it's a pretty exciting year so far.
Yes, and you've mentioned dance. Tell us a little bit about that. How long have you been doing dance, and what made you get into dance?
Ooh, I wrote a book about that, but that's my very first book. I'm telling you how I got into dance. It was well, that was actually my second book. I got into dance because I thought I was a singer, but I didn't know any better in the second grade. And I'm watching my girlfriend's recital, and the opening number included this incredible tap dance opening number where the curtains drew up and you could see tap shoes underneath, and they were glow in the dark. As the curtain got even more, you could see hands and horns in the dark, and they would glow. Oh, it was so fantastic. And there was a guy singing with a microphone, and he looked like Mr. Peanut, the kind with the top hat and everything.
Yes.
Just sitting there in my second grade self that I needed to do that when I grew up. And of course, I couldn't go to dancing school because my parents did not understand the value of dancing school to figure out how to get me in there. So I had to wait until, get this, the High School for the Creative and Performing Arts opened in Philadelphia, ninth grade. I auditioned and got in the first year it opened. Amazing. I had no dance lessons. They just liked me. And that's how I got involved. And on day one, I met a Broadway star. He was my classmate. And he asked us to stick around after school to see if we would like to become a little dance group. Well, that dance company stayed around for 17 years, and it was called Leisure Dance Theater. And we've done everything that we possibly could do, include creating an annual Christmas spectacular danceicle called Carols in Color. because we were so tired of seeing the nutcracker that people of color needed to have their own. So we looked into it and saw how Langston Hughes put together the oh my goodness, how can I not remember Langston Hughes's Christmas play? And they did it every year at Freedom Theater, which is now
Black
closed.
Nativity? Is that it? Black Nativity?
Thank you, Stevie. Yes, Black Nativity. And we wanted to redo that. What happened was we read the script and realized the second half is all singing. You know what? We can write our own script. Go to the Bible, open it up to St. Matthew. The entire story is written there in all kinds of fabulous detail. The other three guys, they didn't write it in as much detail, but St. Matthew had the best version. So we pulled it straight from the Bible and made that the entire spectacular. And now Black people could come and just see the birth of Christ as told by people of color. So that's why we call it carols in color. And it still runs to this day. You can still find it.
I love that. I love that. And I love what you just said about representation for our young Black boys and girls out here. Debbie Allen did something similar. She called it the hot chocolate nutcracker. And that's what we need, representation for when we're going through the arts, for acting and dance and theater and all of these things. And with it being Black History Month, you know, it's important that our kids, our students, or whoever's watching, the consumers, get this information to know that there's platforms out here, because you're right about the nutcracker. I've seen ballets and it's just like, wow, there's none of this.
It's not written in the script. Arabic, that's it. That's it. That's as close as you get to any semblance of color is the Arabia dance. Yeah, we need one where the focus is on people of color. And the fabulous fact that Jesus and those over there in Israel were not of the Caucasian persuasion tells you these are the right people to tell the story. So when you look at the birth of Jesus, you're looking at colored people telling a story about colored people. However you want to nationalize them, that's up to you. We don't care. But we know where they were from, and that's it. It is true. It is right. It is fair. You call it what it is. And we did it just that way, including all of the nationalities, because Leisure Dance Theater was that mecca where everybody could come together, because we formed together at the beginning of a school, like a civil rights movement to have a performing arts school in Philadelphia. So we had everybody in the mix. And that's how the company grew. And it grew to be what it was meant to be from the inclusion that it started out with. But the focus is still on that, my friend from Broadway, Black kid, I'm still a Black girl. We made a dance company that kept moving. And so you're still talking about Black choreographer, Black ideas, Black wisdom,
Yes.
Black people magic, all of it. And Carols in Color should always stand. And I am always hopeful that it will become a national touring thing. You know, I hope to one day be able to produce it for it to tour. You know, for it just needs to be as popular as the Nutcracker. Come on.
It sure does. It sure does, 100%, because there are, you know, up and coming Black actors, actresses, dancers, people who are looking to get into the theater. They need someone that looks like them. 100% representation is key. And I love that you're preaching about that and telling people about that, because I talk about it on my platform a lot as well, too. When it comes to getting into this business, we need to see representation, 100%. So my next question for you was, who are some of your favorite dancers? Who are some of your favorite dance instructors?
My favorite dance instructors. Okay, this is a great question. Well, I didn't know any better because I told you I was in second grade and I saw my girlfriend's recital and wanted to be a part of this world. And it took me until ninth grade to become included in it. However, I did jump into it by eighth grade, where my homeroom teacher, Mrs. Schwartz, was the choreographer for our eighth grade production that had never been done before. We had done a musical at our school, first time ever. We had young teachers who were all about giving these Black kids in the, that they were now going to be over, this theatrical experience so they can grow in imagery and concepts and ways to interact with people. And they chose the Harlem Renaissance to be the focus of this show. And me not knowing any different, I was an athlete. I ran track and field. My events were the short distance sprints, the 50, the 60, the 100, and long jump and the long jump. So I'm very good at moving fast and jumping high. Coming into this school, it made the transition to audition to be a dancer simple because I really had all of what it took. I just had zero training. But with what was inside of me, it was simple for them to see me and able to train what they have discovered is this little athlete who wanted to dance. So that first teacher of mine taught us how to do swing dancing, the kind of, you got to flip kids over your back and that kind of things. And
Yep.
I back in, this is 1978. And platforms and bell bottoms, things like that were still rocking.
Yeah.
It had kind of faded, but we were still rocking it. Why not? And I learned, and I brought my platform heels to be the dancer and doing flips and kicks and whatever choreography was. And I also got to be the soloist for Minnie the Moocher. So all of these things were done in heels. I know, in eighth grade, right? They just pegged me from the door. So here I am, and I go into the school to be trained, not afraid of what they're going to give me because I just finished doing this incredible musical for eighth grade, feeling really good about myself. Although they did not choose me to sing, they pushed me out of the singing and said, "Here, dance." I didn't know I couldn't sing. It's hilarious. Anyway, so I go to dancing. Miss Schwartz, if it weren't for her, she's my first favorite dance teacher because she put something inside of me that I did not learn for several years was a valuable tool, such as dancing in high heels. Who knew? I thought everybody knew how to dance in heels because I'm late to the whole dance party. Everyone should be doing this, so I figure. And I get into this high school and everyone's in pointe shoes and ballet flats and tap shoes and jazz shoes and all these other things that I now need to learn about. My Horton teacher, the modern teacher, was very, very strict and loved making sure that her students could do everything that she taught precisely. Now, with precision like that, and a person like me want to know about this dance stuff, well, was my favorite. I could pick her brain about every little tiny detail that there is to have in dance. And so long as my body was able to take the pressure, she gave it up. Here, do this. She was my choreographer. The first year I went out to become Miss Youth Pennsylvania, Miss Black Teenage Pennsylvania from Hal Jackson's Talented Teens. She was my choreographer. She put together my solo. So of course she's absolutely my favorite. She's also the person that brought our little dance company and introduced us to the concert world people and placing us in front of other dance companies and sharing the stage with them at a memorial for her legendary teacher in Philadelphia. She passed away, but knew that we were the next generation of modern dancers that could make a difference. And she escorted us right onto that stage, right next to all of these great Philadelphia artists who were all adults, and we're the babies. And as the babies on the scene, I don't know what I'm walking into, or that I'm walking amongst the land of giants for real, for real. I find these things out as time in life continues, because I'm still taking in the information. Now, we had this fellow that would come and teach us Dunham. His name is Henry Roy, and he was a certified Dunham teacher. And he's from right here in Philadelphia and knew everything about modern dance too. And it was hard for us to pay attention to this man teaching because he was so beautiful. He would demonstrate something, and we would stare at him and say, like, it's your turn. I don't even know what you did. I'm sorry. You were just so beautiful. I'm staring at you. I couldn't remember. It was a challenge to learn from a very handsome man. I had to get over that. He was just one of my favorite people. I ended up having him as a dance partner in my senior recital in college. Love him too. My other teacher that I loved, the first one who taught me to tap dance, Ladiva Davis. She's a theater person, and she had her own show on PBS, Cooking with Ladiva. And she would play piano and cook and sing and dance for you. And she and our jazz teacher, Mr. Scott Schultz, organized us for the Thanksgiving Day parades, because you gotta bring these kids out. So we learned how to do tap dancing, to do a chorus line. One, singular sensation, every little step. Yeah, all of those things we learned to do 9th, 10th grade. And they were my staples of people. Delphine Del Bello, David Kloss, Aruska. They're so beautiful. They were the ballet personnel, and they really taught us how to love whatever our bodies could do. And then they were able to introduce us to these bigger masters like John Hines, and they brought him in to be our teachers, and people from Philadelphia. Oh, we even had Sandman Sims come down from New York. I learned he was a Philadelphian. Was Sandman? No, the one who did the walking. Coles, the Cole Stroll. So Honey Coles is his name. He came to our classroom. All these people signed our beautiful wall that we never took with us when the school moved. Pretty sad about that. Why couldn't they cut out a wall and take it? Okay, anyway, all those beautiful signatures of those incredible stars who encouraged us to be dynamic, learn everything, sing, dance, act, play an instrument, even if it isn't good. Just be ready. That's what they taught us. And I took that to heart because I was looking for what does it take to be in this business. And if all of you are telling me that that is what it takes to be in this business, I'm going to follow everything you say. I'm going to learn everything. Thank God for that modern teacher. I am a Horton diva these days. I had Graham after that, another 4 years of Graham. I went to college, and Pat Thomas was that teacher. I fell in love with her because she really knew how to get this body to understand the dynamics that were coming through the program and the transitions. And although it was made for the perfect Asian long body, she knew how to make us incompetent. And we were living through our Graham classes with Pat Thomas. Andrew Papp was a wonderful ballet teacher. Him and Andrew, there were two Andrews, and they made sure that people like me were not left out because we're on the side, and our bodies, look at this body, girl. Look at all this. You can't have all of this and be a little ballerina. It's not
right.
So these fellas never made me feel ashamed of anything that I had. He helped me to shape it and use it dynamically that I can go anywhere in the world and still be a ballerina. I even got work being on point. Okay, I work in the circus as a chorus line dancer and had to do point work. Scariest days of my life, but but still, I was passable because I've had so much training and it was intense. That I can do anything and look as though that's what I do. That people don't even question if I do anything else. They just figure you do that. And the High School for the Creative and Performing Arts taught me to do that. And I'm grateful for those lessons, to be included anywhere in the world. I've been able to work with Broadway stars. I've been able to work with actors and actresses, theater company, where I not only got a chance to, perform, choreograph, act right along with, be in the movies with. I only had lines in plays, never in movies. Oh, yes, I did. About 5 years. Right, that's the first time. So I've been able to cover all of the areas with the training afforded by me searching for an outlet that a brown person can get to be in the performing arts and be effective. And I'm still doing it today, and I'm so happy to be able to. And that's why the year starting out with an achievement and an accomplishment, it really helped me to say, welcome 2022. Last year you did a lot of work, but you might need to sit down and just enjoy some of the work you've been kicking out for the past throughout the pandemic, and just do your normal you and allow the works that you have done to speak for itself this year. So I may need to slow down and take a vacation this year, but it is starting off rather excitingly. I'm excited.
And I love what you said, which is, you talked a lot about being in the spirit and dance. And like you've mentioned, 2021 kind of needs to take a step back, because it definitely has been an emotional roller coaster ride for all of us. Some people have lost their jobs and all of these things have just been going on in the world. But there's the art of dance. There's the art of having a conversation. There's the art of creating. There's so many different things. To young Black girls that are watching this interview, what advice would you give them?
Enjoy the fact that you found your dreams are something you can't let go of. Enjoy that. It's not a childhood fantasy. Those fantasies are your imaginations working to come to reality. That is your soul speaking through you in your mind, creating picture of what you should be, because that's where you belong. Do not take it for granted. Those dreams are real for you. Keep up with it. Do whatever you can do to make those dreams come true. That's exactly what I did when I saw those people dancing on that stage, and I knew I needed to know everything that they knew. I do. You can.
And it's about perseverance as well, too. I had an interview with a powerlifting champion, and he was saying the same thing, about when it comes to powerlifting, acting, doing stunts, all of these things. It's the same mentality that everyone should have, and that is following their passions and perseverance and going for what their heart's desires is. So my question for you is, still in the spirit of dance, before we get a transition over to acting.
Okay.
what brings you peace and sanity? And I know dance probably does, but what other things keeps you in unity and harmonized? Because it's crazy out here. We've lost so many people this year, and at times it can all boggle down on you and just be like, okay, this is overwhelming. So how do you keep your peace and sanity through everything?
Love is the key. Without
Yes.
love, nothing is going to stick or manage to make a difference. If it is not rooted in love, I have chosen to back away from it.
Mm.
That is how I perceive everything that I find is through the lens of love. If I can see it in you, if I can see it around you, I'm poking on it to keep bringing that out. That's going to be my job. If I got to poke myself to make sure that you remained as positive and happy as I found you, then I'm going to want you to remain in that spirit and get better. No matter what is going on around. This is where attitudes and what we call them storms will come and blow. People die. I mean, folks that are right next to you, people that you know love. Some people, look, I don't have a child. It's not because I didn't try. Again, there's loss. Things just happen. Am I going to drown in the misery that cannot be? Or am I going to understand that all things have a possibility? And if you give that possibility a place in your heart where love is, then maybe it could not grow on its own, but it can grow inside of you. So long as somebody is alive that can carry that spirit forward, it is there. I see one of my friends have joined in on this, and her mother is one of my mentors. And she has now gone, she's passed away. But she's one of my mentors, and she led me step by step by step through the process of understanding love comes from you and how you accept people and give them instructions to move forward. They don't have to take it. You don't have to give it. But if both sides actually participate in this, then something wonderful will happen. And it normally does. And that little thing can sometimes become a great big act of courage, which turns into an event or a platform or a dance company and things of that nature. I worked for the Variety Club of Pennsylvania. And that was because Carla Krochak's mom, Alicia Craig, she was the living owner of the Philadelphia Civic Ballet Company, the oldest ballet company in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Taught me that, well, she carried me with her wherever she went. Once she found me, we became inseparable. And she mentored me, and I was one of her soloists, one of her 5 soloists that she took in her touring show. And for her, the idea of reaching out to able-bodied and unable-bodied people, the same movement is movement. I'm sitting here on the floor right now. If you have any body control, you should be able to give emotion, to give shape and effort to breath inside of your body. Even if you are
Yes.
in a wheelchair, she would get the children out of their wheelchair, put them onto mat, and we would dance right along with them. In their wheelchairs, we could still dance with them. They would even take us for a ride sometimes. We would partner dance with them in their wheelchairs. Those who were on crutches, we dance along with those children as well. Those children, the way that they communicate through their handicap, along with alongside of an able-bodied person gives great weight to what you can achieve with your willing heart. And that is kind of my whole philosophy about approaching movement with anyone. This is why anyone can dance. Everyone. If something's moving and you can control it, well, let's work it. Brought it, bring it. We're going to do this. But that philosophy really was honed by Alicia Craig and one of my mentors. I was too young to. I wasn't around when she was dancing. By the time I'm dancing with her, she's dancing the tarantella and just stays in her shoes and her skirt, but she doesn't need to put on a leotard and tights any longer. Those days are gone for her. But she gets the children up and she teaches them 3 steps and everyone dances along with her. And she did that until the day she most amazing things I ever saw. Mentoring, teaching me how to connect with everyone at every level, young, the old, the elderly, the able-bodied, the not able-bodied, the handicapped, those who are ADHD, those who are ADD, those who are somewhere on the spectrum. She put me and the other soloists in the rooms with everybody to share that love from the inside and watch it translate outside of yourself. So if you're not selfish with what gifts are given to you, it moves the world forward.
Come on.
It taught me that.
All right, so we're going to transition over to acting and directing because you've also done some acting, you've done some directing and things as well too. Uh-oh, she ran out for a sec.
No, I'm here. Can you see me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Yes, I was saying that we're going to transition over to acting and directing as well too. My question is, how do you find the balance? Because you also you train your students as well, and you act, you direct, you produce your projects, and all of these things. It's all about that balance. So how do you make the time to do the balance of dance and act and produce as well?
I swear, as a teenager and into my up into the 30s, I just never slept. So there, balancing was just a matter of just keep going. But over the age of 40, you kind of need to sleep, and you got to figure things out a little bit better, how to manage your time. And what I figured out was I needed to choose either a daytime or the evening, and not do both. I used to work in the education field, so I taught school during the day. And then when the school is over, then I'm teaching dance. Well, when do I get time for myself? How do I get into my projects? When do I get a break to, do something that I really want to do? And my heart is just beating out of my chest. You really need to do things. I had to make a choice so that I could balance the artistic side. So I left education and I remained after school, which means I have daytime to work on everything else, organizing, literizing, everything that I have to do, all the alliterations, connecting with people, so that, by the afternoon and evening, my time to give with the youth or the adults for their education in the arts, they have that time with me. And some of them do turn into crossover times when I get to do projects that might include, well, these days everything is in a studio instead of on a live stage, which has opened the doors for them to about presentation themselves and how to handle being around audience and connect with, even if it is, especially everything that was virtual. So you connect with one another in the room in order for that to be felt outside of the camera. And and that's how I focus on balancing both of those. Like I give myself time, and then I give the rest of my time where it goes. Um, and simply put, I put everyone on a rotating schedule. So I have to go from here on this day to here on this day. I'll circle back around, do this again, and then we'll keep going. Partials until things build up and become a big whole. And then bam, I've got 5 different products because I'm working in 5 different areas. And that's how that balances out.
All right, definitely. Because I had to ask, because I said she does so many things. She produces, she directs, she's an actress, and she also dances as well too. And she has to train her students. So I'm like, how does she find the time? Even for me, outside of Style by Stevie, I'm having to do all of these other things outside of the show as well too, making sure that everything is taken care of on the production end and making sure that everything is running perfectly. So
Manage
before we
everything.
go, yes. And they say women we literally do it all. We literally do it all. It's all about that balance.
We're built for it. Many of us may look, but we are. Don't give that power over to the other half of your teammate over there. They got their own stuff to do. Do your part, stay in your lane, and then when it's time to share it, everybody's happy to share. Because yeah, that's so easy to do.
That part. Okay. All right, fashion dolls. Before we get into our games, you talk a lot about the arts and dance. For the people that are watching, because I talk about it on my platform as well too, could you tell people how important it is to support the Black arts, to support Black content creators, to support Black visionaries? Because it's so many people that are coming up in the next generation that want to get into acting, that want to get into theater, that want to go and do ballet, that want to go and do so many different things with their life. Could you instill how important it is to support the Black content creations of the future?
I personally had to crawl my way without without the support around me. The ambition and the passion and the fire about not letting go of that vision in my head drove me. The love of that vision, me be more specific, the love of that vision is what drove me to continue on this artistic path, regardless of the support. I have learned because of that, without your family, without your friends, without cousins, without the family that you handpick yourself, saying encouraging things, offering you rides, giving you that beautiful cape that you admired, things that things things that they know would support your development, your curiosities. Those things are overlooked on people of these hues. It's simply overlooked.
Yeah.
Kind of like back in the day when they were advancing medicine and they didn't think that Black people was in pain. That kind of a thing. Like, we don't have pain, only white people do. We take pain better than they do. I don't know, whatever that's about. Skin, a body is a body. Okay, y'all, fine. Those days are over. Except the concepts of how it worked have not gone away. And people think that we've learned ourselves that we are not, they don't give us that. So if we don't give it to ourselves to help support growth in the Black community, it won't be there. Do not feel badly when you support a Black person and then they grow up to go into the white world.
Yes.
Support people so that they can grow. Wherever they go is where they're meant to be. Love that about them. Wish them well. And give them some support on their way out because they have now moved up. That whole crabs in the barrel routine, and I will call it a routine because it has never disappeared, is prevalent still. And we of the progressive mind thinkers can see it. We squash those things as much as possible. That is also another way to support Black businesses by keeping the naysayers that you see there away or help them to learn. Some people may not want to learn. Others absolutely want to learn. Those who want to learn will learn. Those who do not want to learn, well, you have done your best and allow karma to do the rest. Our job is to be authentic so that our brother and sister can look at us and be happy that we are A, alive, B, able, like an able-bodied person, an able-brained person, to do A, B, C, D to Z. Because we can see there's something you are valuable to contribute to, that in itself is valuable. If we recognize if we recognize the love that is about to happen because this person is participating and you see them happy to do it, you know that thing they're working on is going to be great. The outcomes are the most important aspect of giving your time, your energy, and your money, especially your financial money, directly to the small business people of color, because we are the only ones we can rely upon until we've grown to the place where now we can do more national things. And with that support, no one is forgotten. We wouldn't be who we are without you. So think of it as you are the investors. And then we get to invest right back into you. Well, that's my hope. I hope most of us get a chance to invest back into our own community. You're doing this, Stevie, and I appreciate it because I understand that effort. This comes from a place of love where you get to use your passion, your platform to support and give balance, more balance, where we don't have these opportunities. Okay, so I was on the news the other morning, but I wasn't on the news because I was Black. I was just on the news because they need people to know that tap dance can help you not be bored in the winter. and I find that by itself a phenomenal thought that in order to rally together the community of Philadelphia, they're trying to help them out of the blues of the winter. And it happened to be, turning February. So voila, let's get something going on with something authentically Black. So the tap dance got me on TV just yesterday, the other day, whatever that was. And but I wasn't the person talking about tap dance or anything. So finding platforms where I can voice the evidence of the legacy given to artists, young people. Please don't forget that I was in second grade when my light bulb went off, especially young people. That's why I continue to teach. You must keep them in the know that they are not imagining these visions, in the know. And with that, continue to do things like this wherever you can, because this is support. we now are reality TV. We are now the reality period. We have to help one another individually by helping this classroom, that one station, this, other little, but one by one, help that way. And it mounts up and it becomes a lot of efforts from a lot of different people. That is a network that reaches beyond any one person and the people whom they are helping. Now your one platform is helping a bunch of platforms become open to what you do and to share your heritage, your legacies, the things you want to produce to go forward, and how you're going to do it. I'm leaving my legacies by helping other legacies. I'm making movies and that include their and that documents whom they are, why they are, what things can be done with their stories, artistic flavors that can be added, chapters that can flow, and time capsule formats. And it is a crossover for entertainment, even though it's both entertainment and it is life. So the documenting of, and it supports your history, so you know where you come from and what you can strive to do next. And it includes the young people who will now take over what you do, because you're showing them all the way. They're being a part of your production company, and they're seeing how you are developing these platforms, how you're organizing to talk to people, how you are able to Google them and get their schedules together, how you are able to take a script and have everyone flow in a way that it can be captured by the camera that makes sense and feels right to the person who is giving the performances. So to be in the middle of a person who does that for a living helps the next person take that, become their sponge, and now they will move on with their vision of how you've done this. Meaning you are teaching everywhere you go. And this is how it progresses. So it should continue and continue and continue. I don't know how many play children that I have in this world, but I'm pretty sure it's amongst the thousands. So somewhere in the thousands, those people will have, not will, have passed along things that I know they've gotten from me. I'm sure my little voice is just there in their head somewhere. Miss Jaye said this. Miss Jaye said that. Because you can see evidence of things going on. I even got kicked out of a school because I was teaching Black history lessons to a fifth grade class, and those children would go home and tell their parents what they learned, and the parents would be mad because I told them the truth. I had to leave a school. I said, oh my goodness. Well, those children, everything that has happened pre-pandemic and especially during the pandemic about why Black history is important, it sure came to light. So everything that their parents tried to get them to not think of as something to take seriously is something they now, I'm sure, have had to go back to question. Well, Miss Jaye told us, and you told me, but look, are Black people valid or are they not?
Exactly.
Yes, baby, we are valid. As a matter of fact, we are the bedrock of society. And it is time that everyone can find it in their souls to look at science and history to see this as the fact. Everyone came from Black. Period. That's all there is. You can't get Black out of white, but you can get white out of Black. Everyone came from us. Not me, not you, but historically speaking, that's just the way it has had to go. And to deny science and fact and history and things that are just so important to society, well, that's just wrong. So let's fix the information that is out there. Kind of the same reason we had to do a Carols and Colors, so we could have a Black show about the birth of Christ. Because honestly, Christ is brown. I don't know how else to put it. I don't have to put it anyway. It's written. You can see the words yourself. So with that, everyone should be aware of whom we are, to history, to its foundations, and then maybe they can see better what they're looking at when they watch people other than themselves work towards becoming something that becoming something that they want to become, and not to be repressed because this is something they want to become. I know the saying, don't let your wants hurt you. I know that old saying. My grandmom parents said that to me a lot. And it's not about the wants. It is very much about the need. And the need is in here. If it doesn't disappear or dissipate or sway, it is a beam. That's your purpose. A lot of people don't recognize what their purpose is because they're looking around it. It's too hard. What their purpose is too hard. I almost want to give everybody a purpose. If you can't figure it out, your purpose is to focus on love. If you focus on love and you understand that things rooted in love, everything else that you are doing and thinking of is probably the right thing to do. So go forth and do it with all of the verve that you can manage, because it's the right thing to put out there. Positivity is the balance that this negative world needs. As much positive energy that we can deliver is what the world needs. Period.
100%.
So do that. Follow your love.
I love that. I love that. And people need to know that, because we get so caught up in the moment of things that are going on that are negative, that we have to remain positive, even in some of the situations. And I'm the type of person, I look at things in an optimistic type of light. Before, I was just the first type to jump to conclusion about things. But now I'm just like, as I'm slowly approaching my 30s, I say, you know what? It's time for me to kind of take a chill on it and not jump before my time and do things like that. Just be in that moment, in the present. And I think Erykah Badu, she said something to that extent. Just be in the present. And for me, I've learned to be in the present and in the now. So yeah.
It's the only way we're going to have a stable future. If you cannot be present one-on-one with whom you are with, it's not going to carry anywhere. No one's going to think about you afterwards. You're nobody. But if you are present, they felt you. They're going to keep that.
Y'all remember that 100%. Live in the now, live in the present. And speaking of the present, it is about that time, Fashion Dolls. We're about to conclude this interview with 2 games with the fabulous Miss Jaye Allison. All right, the first one we're going to do is called the Rapid 5. And Jaye, she has to tell us 5 things that she can't live without. And the next one is going to be called Her Thoughts. So I'm going to give the name of some famous dancers, and she has to tell me the first word that comes to her mind on these dancers that I named. So, all right. We're going to start off with the Rapid 5. What are 5 things that you can't live without?
Food, especially my grandmom's Sunday dinner. Okay, that's one. Stevie Wonder music. That's two. Oh my gosh, a very decent bathtub. Jets preferred. That's three. Four. Let's. What else can I live without? Oh, child, my Ayurveda oil products. My skin needs. Oh my gosh, the the products. And I guess the fifth thing is my imagination.
Yes. And listen, I love the fact that you said that, because a lot of people think, oh, well, imagination, I'm too old for that. No, you're never too old to believe and go for your passion and your dreams or whatever it is. You're never too old for it. You're never too old to imagine. You're never too old to have a fantasy. You're never too old to have an epiphany. Live, again, it goes back to what I just said. Live in the present. Live in that moment. Live in the now.
Exactly. If you don't do that, then I'm afraid you may stop living. You're living a lie. The living is in the present. You are the gift.
I love that. I love that. Remember that and cherish it. Cherish it 100%. All right. The next game is called Her Thoughts. And Jaye has to tell us her thoughts on these fabulous ladies who are all famous dancers. So we're going to get right into it. I'm going to drop a name and she has to tell me the first word that comes to her mind about these dancers. All right. Misty Copeland.
Those feet, girl. Feet.
Effortless.
Who's the next person?
The next one is Judith Jamison.
I learned she my cousin, so so I now feel a very deep connection because I feel loved by the art of dance. Judith means dance to me, and I'm meant to dance. She's a part of my family.
And she does it with such opulence and grace. Shout outs to Alvin Ailey. Like, I've watched some of their beautiful, just beautiful. If you want to see Black representations, which is what we talked about throughout this whole entire interview, check out Carols in Color and also check out Alvin Ailey. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Trevor.
All right. The next lady we have is Janet Collins.
Janet Collins, #1 beauty.
Effortless. Amazing. The only way to say it. She's beautiful.
#1 beauty. Come on. These are my when you mention their names, it's like the very first time I ever recognize who these people are. Those are the thoughts that are coming to my mind. Like, wow, this is so and so. She's so. And that word is exactly what you are inspiring in my head to say. This is great. I love this.
All right. The last lady that we have, last but certainly not least, we could not forget the one and only Miss Debbie Allen.
I'm going to call her my my inspiration. Like, I'm going to call her my Aunt Debbie. She's my Aunt Debbie. Everything that I've seen in her is everything when I was a teenager that I thought I should be. She is everything that I thought I should be. So I needed to emulate and become my Aunt Debbie. And I feel like I've done a lot to become like her. I've done a lot.
And I was watching some clips on your YouTube channel and I said, wow, she moves just like Debbie. I was watching Debbie in it was a Dark and Lovely Relaxer commercial.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she twirled around, oh my God, I was just in awe. I said, is she still doing it? And then I watched a recent interview that she did. She said, I'm going to keep on dancing. So keep on dancing. Dance till you don't have a heartbeat anymore. Live through it. And even for me, you know, as I'm doing my makeup, I'm listening to music and just jigging around, things like that. So, you know, dance is very, very powerful. It's very, very powerful.
Yes. It's
So
where
go ahead.
words can't even match. The dance has taken over. Words can't match it.
All right, that is our games fashion doll. So I'm gonna let my girl Jaye here conclude the interview and give us some more words of wisdom because she has been spitting the gems throughout this entire interview. And this is by far one of my favorite interviews. I know my other guests, these or everybody, y'all could be like, well, why would you say that? Because it's just a connection with each and every one of my guests that I've had on my platform. It's a soul connection. And the audience can feel it too. So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview and took something from it and your spirits are lifted because it is power in the tongue, it is power in the mind, it is power in the heart, the body, and the soul. So I'm going to let Miss Jaye here, because her students call her that, Miss Jaye.
Yeah.
I'm going to let her conclude the interview with some words of wisdom and let everyone know where they can follow you if you have any upcoming projects.
Oh, I sure do. But let me spit that out first before I forget. So I have a dance company called Jada. In Jada, J. Allison Dance Academy, because I consider myself to be a dance academy. So those in my company and who gets my expertise, you guys all get to be a part of the Jada experience. So Jada, over the years, has a lot of things going on in its archive. And pandemic wise, I've tried to put us back out there on the stage again, but we did it virtually. So I started creating films, and they weren't dance films, but they are just dance films. And these films about dance and dancers' lives um, have, I told you, gone into the film festivals, and now we're going to do a movie night. It will happen during the month of March, during the Women's Month, and I did that because
Hello.
also the legacy of the Silver Bells. They are the original dancers from the Cotton Club and the Apollo Theater. I am a second generation Silver Bell, and everything they did was in March, Women's Month, to make sure that the association, the accomplishment of women is not forgotten. So coming up in March, I will be doing a film night. It will be a paid event on Facebook where you can just, the dancers decided $15 is how much it's going to cost. And you'll get a 2-hour movie experience. And it's going to play for like 15 days. So we're going to give you 2 weeks to catch up on all 4 of the films. Be the Rhythm. Oh, you don't know about the 4th film. Okay. So Be the Rhythm. It was the first one that went out. Hear My Protest Dance. That's the second one. That was when the George Floyd protest happened in Philadelphia. It was shot on that day. This third one is the 2004, An Unsilenced Film, where you get to hear what people in the theater did not get to hear. And finally, I have the newest one, which is a dedication to my partner, Leon, the Broadway star that I met when I was 14. He wrote music, and he wrote some songs for me, about me. And silly me did not realize it until maybe a couple of years ago that those songs that I have been singing about him were songs that he wrote about me. And it just suddenly clicked. I was like, oh my God, all these thousands of years later, he wrote me songs. Oh my goodness. So I made a film, one of his songs that he wrote about me, and I have my dance company dancing it, and that is going to be hopefully complete. The editor says it's going to be complete shortly, and I'll be able to feature 2 premieres during that time in March. So I'm going to announce it this month. Look for the announcement here with That Dance Lady on Instagram. You'll see my real name, Jaye Allison, on Facebook, and Jada Dance. Look for Jaye Allison, Jada Dance, Jada Productions. Look for Jaye Allison, Jada, and join in with us there. That's where you will find the information and the connection, because the company will show the films. So it won't be through my personal link. It'll be done through my business page, Jada Dance. And I guess that's all to look forward to are the 4 movies, 2 premieres, and 2 of them are already out. That way you can see it for yourself. And people can stop asking me, so where is your movie? How can I see it? We're going to present it for 2 weeks. And you can see it anytime, full access, pay your $15. That way the dancers can get some money and get paid. That's right, because artists have to find a way to get paid through the pandemic. We're not going anywhere. What are we going to do? So we're going to ask you to enjoy the works that we are giving to you virtually, and giving you an entire platform as though you are seated in a theater and you can enjoy our wares. That's how we're going to present it this year, and at least until have settled down, probably by 2024. Good Lord. And it's all right though, you know. So you just got to love what you're doing and figure out how to share it. And that's what I have done in this manner. And we hope that you will come along with us to take advantage of the wares that we are showing to you. Now, my parting words of wisdom are pretty simple. Enjoy your inner child. Your inner child is the imagination that creates what your present hands are able to give. Feed it. Give it love. Give it admiration. And then you'll be able to look at yourself like the happy little princess or prince that you know you are. You will grow and find your own crown, wear it your own way, and you feel like an 8-year-old having milk and cookies and their favorite dinner, sitting next to grandmom and just chewing the fat with her. You would be surprised the amazing creations that will fall out of you because you relaxed your adultness to give your inner child a reason to smile. Once you do that, you have made everyone else smile. God bless you.
Thank you so much, girl. Those are some encouraging words, and I hope y'all took something from that. That is food for the soul, and that's deep. And I hope you guys who are out here struggling with that, struggle to have that, what I call it the fire, that fire that is brewing inside of you to get up and create, or just get up and design or do something. It can be hair artistry, makeup, it can be dance, acting. Find something that works for you and go for it. Go for it and follow your passions. Me, I love to do collages and vision boards. Every time it comes into the new year, I love to put things together in the perspective of how I would love my life to be. And it's all writing there. You write your own story. You write it. And that's what Jaye, she said in the beginning of the interview. So, yeah. Thank you so much, girl.
Thank you so much. Oh my goodness, this was the best day. I love this.
Yeah, and I would love to have you back on it in the future because your energy is everything. Your students came through. I see some of my supporters and my followers, my dolls have come through. They love your energy.
There. Hi, Maximus. I saw Tweety there too. Hey, guys.
I hope you guys took something from this powerful interview. Be on the lookout for the clip. Tomorrow joining us, we have actor Michael Taylor. Now, with Jaye, I can let my comfort zone down and everything. Is like having girl talk. But with Michael, because I seen him in action in one of the, it was like a suspense thriller. And I'm a little bit scared, y'all. I'm not going to lie. But It's gonna be okay. I'm pretty sure.
Her child with you, he won't be able to do anything but go, wow, I love your questions. And, you know, mwah. And that's love coming from today for you, Stevie. Love you.
Love you too, girl. Thank you so much, Jay, for coming to the dollhouse, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, ladies and gentlemen.